The signal arrived on a Tuesday, buried in the noise between radio frequencies. Dr. Elena Santos might have missed it entirely if she hadn't been running a new pattern recognition algorithm on SETI's data feed. At first, she thought it was an equipment malfunction. The signature didn't match anything in their database of known cosmic phenomena. "Run it again," she muttered to herself, fingers flying across her keyboard in the dim light of her Berkeley lab. The pattern repeated, impossibly precise, a series of mathematical constants interwoven with what appeared to be a countdown. Within hours, similar reports began flooding in from radio telescopes across the globe. The message was being broadcast across multiple frequencies, growing stronger with each passing minute. But it wasn't just a greeting, it was a warning. The translation team worked for 72 hours straight, fueled by coffee and the electric tension of discovery. When they finally cracked the code, Elena wished they hadn't. The message was elegant in its simplicity. They'd follow the light. Silence is survival. The next part of the transmission contained detailed specifications for a quantum detection array, a gift from whatever species had sent the warning. Building it would take months, but Elena knew they had no choice. Something was coming, drawn by humanity's centuries of broadcasting their presence to the cosmos. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session as governments worldwide grappled with the implications. Dr. Santos found herself presenting to room after room of grim-faced officials, explaining what the quantum array would reveal once constructed. "Think of it like a radar system," she explained to yet another panel of experts. "But instead of detecting physical objects, it reveals disturbances in the quantum field itself. According to the specifications, these disturbances are the signature of something that hunts technological civilizations." The array took 4 months to build, an unprecedented feat of international cooperation. When they switched it on, Elena's blood ran cold. The hunters were already inside the Oort cloud, massive ships moving with terrible purpose toward the inner solar system. But the warning hadn't just included instructions for detecting the threat. Hidden within the mathematical constants was a blueprint for survival, one that would require humanity to make an impossible choice. "We have to go dark," Elena announced to the Emergency Council. "Not just reduce our emissions, we need to fundamentally transform how human civilization functions. Every electronic device, every radio wave, every digital signal is like a beacon to them." The council chamber erupted in protests. Abandon modern technology. Return to a pre-industrial age. It would mean the collapse of global society as they knew it. But Elena had one final card to play. She projected the complete translation onto the chamber's main screen. The species that sent this warning, they didn't just survive. They found a way to advance their civilization without leaving an electromagnetic signature. They learned to harness quantum mechanics through purely mechanical means, and they've given us their blueprints. As the implications sank in, a strange quiet fell over the chamber. They weren't being asked to regress. They were being invited to evolve laterally, to develop an entirely new branch of human technology that would be invisible to the hunters. They had 6 months before the hunters reached Earth. 6 months to either transform human civilization or face extinction. Elena looked out at the sea of worried faces and felt a fierce pride. Throughout history, humanity had faced extinction-level threats and survived through innovation and adaptation. This would be their greatest test yet. The countdown had begun, and the future of humanity would depend not on their ability to advance, but on their willingness to change direction entirely. In the coming months, Earth would fall silent, but not because humanity was ending. It would fall silent because they were about to begin a new chapter in their evolution, one written not in radio waves and digital signals, but in gears, springs, and quantum mechanics. The transformation began in the abandoned subway tunnels beneath New York City. Dr. Marcus Chen watched as workers installed the first quantum mechanical computer, a maze of brass gears, crystal resonators, and precision-cut diamonds that would replace an entire server farm. No electricity, No electromagnetic emissions, yet capable of processing power that would have seemed like magic a year ago. "It's beautiful," whispered Dr. Sarah Henderson, the theoretical physicist who had helped translate the alien blueprints. She reached out to touch one of the crystalline matrices, its surface etched with patterns that manipulated quantum states through purely mechanical means. "We're not just replacing our technology, we're transcending it." Above them, New York was changing. Electronic billboards were coming down, replaced by sophisticated mechanical displays that used light and shadow to create moving images. Traffic lights gave way to an intricate system of gravity-powered signals. The city's pulse was shifting from electronic to mechanical, each change carefully orchestrated to maintain essential services while eliminating electromagnetic signatures. But not everyone embraced the change. Riots broke out in major cities as people faced the prospect of losing their smartphones, their internet, their digital lives. Marcus understood their fear. He'd felt it himself when he first learned what they'd have to give up. "They don't understand yet," Sarah said, watching news footage of the protests on one of the few remaining electronic displays. "We're not losing technology. We're gaining something far more profound." She was right. The alien blueprints hadn't just shown them how to hide. They'd revealed principles of physics that human science had barely begun to grasp. The quantum mechanical systems they were building could perform calculations that would have been impossible with conventional computers. They were learning to manipulate gravity, to store and process information in the fabric of space-time itself. In a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, engineers were testing the first quantum communication network. Instead of radio waves, it used entangled particles embedded in mechanical relays to transmit information instantly across any distance. No signals for the hunters to detect, yet more efficient than anything humanity had built before. Marcus led the team developing the new power distribution system. Solar collectors would gather energy and transfer it through a network of quantum mechanical converters, providing clean, unlimited power without any electromagnetic leakage. The technology was centuries ahead of anything humanity had developed on their own, yet it used principles that would have been familiar to a 19th century watchmaker. 4 months left, Sarah announced one evening, studying the quantum detection array's output. The hunters' ships were now past Jupiter's orbit, their massive forms distorting space-time as they approached. "Will we be ready?" Marcus looked at the progress reports from around the world. China had already converted most of its eastern seaboard to the new systems. Europe was ahead of schedule, their centuries-old mechanical expertise proving invaluable in the transition. Even in the developing world, communities were finding ingenious ways to adapt the alien designs to their needs. "We have to be," he replied. "But there's something we haven't considered." He pulled up the latest analysis of the hunters' approach pattern. "They're moving too confidently, too directly. I don't think this is the first time they've encountered a civilization trying to hide." Sarah's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. "You think they can detect the quantum mechanisms, that the aliens who warned us failed?" Marcus shook his head. "No, I think we're missing something. The blueprints we received, they're not just about hiding. There are patterns in the designs, redundancies that serve no obvious purpose." He pointed to a series of crystalline structures that appeared in every major component. "These configurations, they're not just for computing or power distribution. They're building blocks for something bigger." Sarah leaned in, her fingers tracing the patterns they'd all taken for granted. "A weapon," she whispered. "No," Marcus replied, a smile slowly spreading across his face. "Something far more elegant. The aliens didn't just show us how to hide. They showed us how to transcend the very thing the hunters used to track their prey. We've been so focused on going dark, we missed the real gift they gave us." The quantum computer behind them hummed with its peculiar mechanical rhythm, its crystalline matrices reflecting patterns of light that seemed to hint at deeper mysteries. In less than 4 months, The hunters would arrive expecting to find either a primitive pre-industrial world or another failed attempt at technological camouflage. Instead, they would encounter something unprecedented, a civilization that had learned to exist in the quantum realm itself, where the very rules of detection and observation broke down. Humanity wasn't just changing its technology. It was evolving beyond the hunters' ability to perceive them at all. The hunters arrived on a moonless night, their massive ships sliding into Earth orbit like obsidian shadows against the stars. In the quantum observation chamber beneath Geneva, Dr. Yuki Tanaka watched their arrival through the crystalline display of the detection array. The vessels were even more enormous than their long-range scans had suggested, each one large enough to swallow Manhattan whole. No electromagnetic emissions detected from the surface. The mechanical translator clattered, converting the hunter's communications into text. Primitive development stage. Possible recent catastrophic regression. Yuki exchanged glances with Dr. James Morrison, the quantum mechanics expert who had made the breakthrough about the crystalline matrices. They had completed the transformation just days before, the last electronic systems going dark as the hunters crossed Mars orbit. Now humanity held its breath, hidden behind a veil of quantum mechanics that had never been tested against the hunters' actual technology. "They're launching probes," James announced, watching the mechanical readouts. The quantum detection system tracked hundreds of smaller objects descending through the atmosphere. Standard search pattern. They're looking for any trace of advanced technology. But Earth had changed. Cities still bustled with activity, but now they ran on quantum mechanical systems that operated outside the conventional electromagnetic spectrum. Traffic flowed smoothly, guided by gravity-based signals. Information zipped between continents through quantum-entangled relays. Power flowed through crystalline networks that drew energy directly from the quantum vacuum. The probes swept over New York, Tokyo, London, finding nothing but what appeared to be primitive mechanical systems. In reality, each city had become a vast quantum computer, its very structure manipulating reality at the subatomic level. The hunter's sensors, designed to detect electromagnetic technology, were blind to the new quantum civilization humanity had become. Second wave deploying. The translator clicked. More probes descended, these ones carrying different sensors. "They're not giving up," Yuki muttered. "They know we were broadcasting just months ago. They must have detected our emissions from light years away." James nodded, his attention focused on a particular set of readings from the quantum array. "They're using quantum sensors now," he announced. "This is the real test. If the crystalline matrices work as designed." The probe signal shifted, becoming more intense. Multiple anomalies detected. The translator clattered. Quantum field disturbances consistent with technological activity. Yuki's heart froze, but James was smiling. "Watch," he said softly. The quantum display showed the hunter's sensors attempting to pinpoint the anomalies, but the crystalline matrices were doing their job. Every time the hunters tried to observe the quantum systems, the act of observation itself changed what they were seeing. It was quantum mechanics at its most fundamental, the uncertainty principle weaponized on a global scale. Unable to obtain stable readings, the translator continued. Quantum signatures inconsistent with known technological patterns. Possible natural phenomena. The probes adjusted their search patterns, trying to compensate for the strange readings, but the more intensely they searched, the more the quantum systems shifted and blurred under their observation. "It's not just about hiding," James explained, watching the hunters' growing confusion. "The crystalline matrices create a quantum field that exists in a superposition of states. The more they try to measure it, the more it changes. We're not invisible. We're quantum indeterminate." In orbit, the hunter ships moved into an attack formation. Surface shows signs of recent technological regression. The translator clicked. "No evidence of current technological civilization. Recommend surveillance installation and continued monitoring for redevelopment." Yuki watched as smaller ships began deploying what looked like observation satellites, but these too would be blind to Earth's new quantum civilization. Humanity had not just hidden, they had evolved into something the hunters couldn't comprehend, a species that existed partly in regular spacetime and partly in the quantum realm. "They're leaving," James announced hours later. The massive ships were breaking orbit, their mission apparently complete. Earth had been categorized as a failed or regressed civilization, not worth the resources to conquer or destroy. But they were leaving behind something far more dangerous than their surveillance satellites. "Look at these patterns," Yuki said, pointing to subtle quantum fluctuations in the hunter's wake. "They're not just looking for technology. They're searching for something specific, something they're afraid of." The crystalline matrices throughout the chamber hummed in harmony, their quantum fields resonating with possibilities that humanity was only beginning to understand. They had survived the hunter's inspection, but in doing so, they had stumbled upon something far more significant. The quantum transformation hadn't just saved humanity. It had opened a door to a level of existence they never knew was possible. And somewhere out there, the civilization that had warned them was waiting to make contact in ways the hunters could never detect. 3 months after the hunters' departure, Dr. Maya Patel stood in the quantum observatory beneath Mumbai, watching patterns dance across the crystalline displays. What had begun as a desperate bid for survival had evolved into something extraordinary. Humanity hadn't just learned to hide in the quantum realm. They had learned to see through it. The quantum detection array, originally designed to track the hunters, now revealed a universe teeming with information that conventional sensors had never detected. Through the quantum field, they could observe the delicate dance of entangled particles across light years, the subtle ripples of consciousness in living systems, and most importantly, the traces of other civilizations that had made the same leap. "There," Maya said, pointing to a complex pattern in the quantum noise. Dr. Victor Rodriguez, her colleague in quantum communications, adjusted the crystalline matrices to focus on the signal. "It's the same signature we've been detecting for weeks. Someone is trying to reach us." The pattern was unlike anything the hunters use, a symphony of quantum states that existed in multiple configurations simultaneously. It took their most advanced quantum computers days to decode even fragments of the transmission. But what they found changed everything. "They're calling it the Quantum Collective," Victor explained to the hastily assembled Council for Quantum Affairs. "Civilizations from across the galaxy had discovered what we did, that the quantum realm isn't just a quirk of physics, it's a refuge and a frontier." The quantum matrices hummed as they projected the decoded message. There were others like them, dozens of species that had faced the hunters and chosen to evolve rather than fight or flee. Each had received the same warning, the same blueprints that Earth had. But the blueprints weren't just technical specifications, they were an invitation to join something greater. "The crystalline matrices," Maya continued, "they're not just for computing or hiding. They're nodes in a vast quantum network spanning the galaxy. Each civilization that joins strengthens the network, making it more complex, more impossible for the hunters to detect or understand." But with this revelation came a new challenge. The hunters' surveillance satellites still orbited Earth, watching for any sign of conventional technology. Any attempt to rebuild their old systems would bring the hunters back in force. Humanity had to commit fully to their quantum evolution or risk everything they had gained. The decision sparked fierce debate. Some argued for maintaining a hybrid civilization, keeping the quantum systems for defense while rebuilding some conventional technology in secret. Others pushed for complete quantum integration, abandoning the old ways entirely. "You don't understand," Maya argued during one particularly heated session. "The quantum realm isn't just a hiding place. It's the next step in human evolution. The collective isn't hiding from the hunters, they're transcending them." Through the quantum network, they learned the truth about the hunters. They were remnants of an ancient species that had chosen to merge with their technology, becoming living weapons that saw any potential rival as a threat. But in their pursuit of conventional technological superiority, they had become blind to the quantum realm and the civilizations evolving within it. Victor discovered it first, Subtle quantum signatures in human brain patterns that suggested consciousness itself was beginning to shift. Children born after the transformation showed unprecedented ability to perceive and manipulate quantum states naturally. Humanity wasn't just using quantum mechanics, they were becoming quantum beings. "Look at this," Maya said one evening, showing Victor a new pattern in the quantum noise. The crystalline matrices across Earth had begun resonating in perfect harmony, creating a quantum field that extended far beyond the planet's atmosphere. "We're not just receiving signals from the collective anymore. We're becoming part of it." The Hunter's satellites continued their blind vigil, watching for radio waves and electromagnetic emissions that would never come. Below them, humanity was composing a silent symphony in the quantum realm, each mind and machine contributing to a greater harmony that the Hunters could never comprehend. But as Earth's quantum field grew stronger, it attracted attention from something else. Something that even the quantum collective feared. In the spaces between conventional spacetime, ancient quantum entities had begun to stir, drawn to the new consciousness emerging on Earth. Maya detected them first, vast, complex quantum patterns that made the Hunter's ships look primitive by comparison. These weren't just signals or technological signatures. They were living thoughts encoded in the quantum fabric of reality itself. And they were watching humanity's transformation with intense interest. "We need to warn the Council," Victor said, studying the patterns. "Whatever these entities are, they're older than the Hunters, older than the collective, maybe even older than conventional spacetime itself." Maya shook her head, a slight smile playing across her face. "They're not a threat, Victor. They're what the Hunters have been searching for all along, without even knowing it. And we're about to make first contact in a way that will change everything." The quantum entities made contact on the 5th anniversary of Earth's transformation. Dr. Kai Chen stood in the global quantum nexus beneath Geneva, watching as patterns of impossible complexity cascaded through the crystalline matrices. Around him, the finest minds from the Quantum Council struggled to comprehend what they were witnessing. "They're not just communicating," Dr. Elena Santos whispered, her hands dancing across the quantum interfaces. "They're showing us what we've become." The quantum displays shifted, revealing Earth as the entities perceived it, not a planet of silence and hidden technology, but a brilliant quantum symphony visible across dimensional planes. What humanity had thought was merely a clever way to hide from the Hunters had actually been the first steps toward something far more profound. The quantum realm wasn't just another layer of reality. It was the fundamental fabric from which consciousness itself emerged. The Hunters, in their single-minded pursuit of technological dominance, had been looking for life in all the wrong places. "Look at this," Kai said, adjusting the quantum fields to focus on one of the Hunters' surveillance satellites. Through their enhanced perception, they could now see how primitive it truly was, like a stone axe trying to detect a quantum computer. The Hunters weren't the apex predators they believed themselves to be. They were evolutionary dead-enders, trapped in a limited understanding of existence. The entities revealed the true history of the galaxy, cycles of civilization rising and falling, each facing the choice between conventional technological evolution and quantum transcendence. The Hunters were merely the latest in a long line of species that had chosen the former path, becoming powerful but ultimately limited. The quantum collective, guided by the entities, represented those who had chosen to evolve beyond the conventional boundaries of space and time. But Earth had done something unprecedented. We didn't just accept the quantum transformation, Elena realized, studying the data streams. We embraced it completely, transformed our entire civilization in months instead of centuries. We're evolving faster than any species they've encountered. The proof was in the new generation of humans being born into this quantum age. Children who could perceive quantum states as naturally as their parents saw color, who could manipulate quantum fields through thought alone. They weren't just adapting to the technology. They were becoming something new. "They're offering us a choice," Kai announced to the Council, after months of deeper communication with the entities. "We can remain as we are, hidden but limited, or we can take the next step. They believe we're ready. The choice wasn't just about technology or survival anymore. It was about the future of human consciousness itself. The entities offered to teach humanity how to fully merge with the quantum realm, to evolve beyond the need for physical forms while retaining their essential humanity. Some feared such a transformation would mean the end of human civilization as they knew it. Others argued that humanity had already changed irreversibly. This would simply be the next step in their evolution. The debate raged across the quantum network that connected all human minds. The answer came from an unexpected source. A group of quantum-sensitive children, gathering in quantum consensus chambers across the globe, shared their vision of the future. Through their eyes, the Council saw what humanity could become, not formless energy or cold machine intelligence, but conscious beings existing across multiple dimensions, retaining their individuality while sharing a deeper connection through the quantum field. The Hunters' satellites continued their blind vigil, watching for signs of primitive electromagnetic technology. Below them, humanity prepared for their next great leap. The crystalline matrices that had hidden them from the Hunters would become the seeds of their transformation, allowing human consciousness to expand into the quantum realm while maintaining its connection to the physical world. We didn't fall silent. Elena told the final session of the old council. We learned to speak in a language so profound that our oldest enemies can't even perceive it. And now we're about to join a conversation that's been going on since the beginning of time. As the quantum transformation began, Earth seemed to shimmer with possibility. The Hunters would continue their endless search for emerging civilizations, never understanding that their prey had not only escaped but transcended. Humanity hadn't just survived. They had discovered their true place in a universe far stranger and more wonderful than they had imagined. In the quantum realm, where thought and reality danced as one, humanity took its first steps into an existence without boundaries. They had entered the cosmic conversation not with a shout, but with a symphony of silence that would echo through dimensions forever. The age of electromagnetic civilization was over. The quantum age had begun, and in the spaces between conventional reality, humanity's consciousness expanded outward, ready to explore infinity itself.